Hi everyone, it's Ellen and today I'm working with all things vintage in my journal. So as you can see here, I have been shopping my stash today. I have loads of these gorgeous vintage envelopes that I found at a charity shop. I have two lovely vintage postcards. So those are the genuine vintage ephemera, and then all the rest of these things that I'm showing you are Tim Holtz bits and pieces. So I've got stickers, rub-ons, journal cards, embellishments, and as we all know, Tim Holtz specialises in vintage. So I thought it'd be really interesting to put genuine vintage ephemera with things that are made to look vintage. And then I also added in these Simple Stories black and white floral and butterfly embellishments because they just go beautifully with the vintage tones, and I'm really glad I added them in because yeah, they mould really nicely with all the vintage things that I use. So yeah, we're doing all things vintage today, all things Tim Holtz. I haven't used Tim Holtz stuff in ages and I have loads of it and it's gorgeous. It's just one of those things I forget to reach for sometimes. I'm not really sure why. So yeah, I really wanted to make that a big theme in these pages. So first up, I've got this gorgeous vintage postcard, and this one hasn't been written on the back, it's blank, which is lovely because I can write on the back myself and add photos and things and not feel guilty, because when they have been written on, I feel very guilty adding anything on the back. So I want to create a tip-in into my journal, and the way I do that is with a folded piece of vellum. It creates a really unobtrusive tip-in, so it's not covering up anything. You can use washi tape, etc. to add tip-ins in, but obviously then you're covering up some of the image, some of your photos on the other side. And yeah, I like to do it with vellum. It's also really sturdy with the double-sided tape. So to the back of that postcard, I'm adding this collage that I've got. This is Theo and Aria, Theo's cousin. I think they might be like second, I'm not really sure how it works. My cousin's daughter, if anyone can tell me what that is, because we were Googling it the other day and I'm not sure if she's second cousin once removed, third cousin, I don't really know how it works, but we call them cousins. So anyway, gone off on a tangent. Yeah, we had Ari around for the day and I took some gorgeous photos of them playing together. So I wanted to add that onto the back of my journal. And because I would have folded the photo, and I don't like to do that because it just never lays flat and it's too bulky, I've just cut down the photo and then stuck them as close together as I can over that fold so that it folds nice and flat. I do this quite a lot. I wanted to create sort of a tab to just remind me that there's something behind this postcard. So I've used two of the butterfly embellishments from that Simple Stories pack, and I've stuck them back to back. They're not a complete match, but close enough that it looks okay. So yeah, I added those, and yeah, it just to remind myself there's something behind there, because sometimes I forget that there's something behind that postcard. I thought I might have just stuck it down, or yeah, I just don't want to forget that that's there. So on the following page, I wanted to add one of my gorgeous vintage envelopes, and I've gone for this one, but I knew I wanted to add something behind it. I really wanted to make use of all of these beautiful rub-ons that I've got from Tim Holtz, so I've picked out the black ones. And the sheet that I've got here is half used, so I made it my mission to only use this sheet. I didn't want to open the new one, and I still didn't use it all. I thought they'd all be finished, but no, they're not. And I've basically drawn a pencil line around that envelope, so sort of a guideline, and then I've covered the page in all of the rub-ons. And I love this effect. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I did that off camera because it's really boring. But yeah, I've stuck all them down, and then I have stuck my envelope on top, and I love it. I think this is gorgeous, especially because the envelopes have that bold blue and red on it. The black and the black background of all these vintage things looks fabulous to me. So I need to make something to go into the envelope. Sort of a journaling card, and I've got a collage of 4 photos here for Theo photos, of course. And to the back of it, I wanted to add 2 more photos. So I needed something to cover up the other half of the photo collage. So I used a Tim Holtz journaling card, which is really lovely. So I'm going to trim that out and just add a little bit of journaling. We're at baby group again, so I'm just journaling about that. And yeah, I'll trim it out, and then that goes really nicely inside that envelope. So I've done that left hand page now, and I've gone back to this right hand page, and I did think that I would add more photos to this, but there wasn't really enough room without it looking overcrowded, so I decided to go embellishment heavy on the rest of this page. To the back of that postcard, I've added a little bit of journaling, and I'm going to add some stickers, some Tim Holtz ephemera pieces. I've added 2 sort of label stickers. One says "In My Heart" and one says "My Sweetheart." And I'm going to go through my box of quite small ephemera from Tim Holtz and add them in. I do not reach for this often enough, and these pieces in here are gorgeous. I really need to make an effort to look for these more. I think because they're not stickers, you know, I have to actually glue it down. It just doesn't really pop into my head. Maybe if they were stickers, I'd be more inclined to use them, but yeah, I definitely want to make an effort to use them more because they're gorgeous, and they're a really lovely size for filling in those awkward gaps that I've got on this postcard. So I've just picked some random ones. There's sort of a couple of tickets and a bird image and a stamp, and they just, yeah, like I said, they fill out those little awkward gaps, which is lovely. I've picked 3 larger Tim Holtz elements to add to the top of my photo. There's sort of a ledger paper, a bingo card or maths card, something along those lines, and the front cover of a book. And I've just layered up those images at the top there just to add some interest in there, and yeah, they're beautiful, absolutely stunning. I've added a sticker that says "Magic in Truth," and then to the bottom I thought I'd create almost a bit of a scene with these floral elements that I've got. I picked the larger ones out so that I could create almost a little meadow at the bottom of this page, and I just adore the black and white with the vintage. I absolutely love that, and with that gorgeous map paper as the background, which is one of my favourite papers to work with, this page made me really happy. It just seemed to come together really nicely. I've added another quote sticker from Tim Holtz that says "Learning to Fly," and I believe I leave that pretty much as it is. Oh, I add another large butterfly just to that gap that I've got in the middle of the page. And yeah, I really love this page. This makes me really happy, and it's really quick to come together as well. It doesn't take a lot of thought. It's quite simple but eye-catching, I think. So I'm going to trim off the bottom of those flowers and work on my next page. And I already picked out the other postcard to use on this page. So it's that little boy in this postcard, and just reminds me of Theo. So obviously, because I'm journaling about Theo, I thought that would be a really good tip in. However, I cannot use the back of this postcard. It has been written on, and I believe the date is 1914, and I cannot bring myself to cover up that postcard. It's too special, it's too vintage, and I had to leave it as it was. So I've literally used it as a decorative piece. I'm journaling about Theo, so that's how I sort of thought that it would work. I've added that as a tip into my journal with some washi tape, being really careful not to cover up any of that writing. I can't read the writing. I'm going to have to see if somebody else can, because I'd love to know what it says. But yeah, I just can't quite make it out. I can make out some of the words, but not all of it, and it's not really making any sense, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going to have to see if somebody else can work that out for me. So I'm only working on this sort of flip out of the next page, because I've already done a lot of work so far in this video, so I just wanted to add a little extra. And then I thought, I don't know if this is sacrilege and everybody would be annoyed at me, but I've cut up this vintage envelope and used it as a backing piece rather than using it as an actual envelope. I just thought it's something different to do. Also, this envelope had a big sort of brown stain on it. I don't know what it is, but it was a bit unsightly, so I wanted to cover that up anyway. And I have a lot of these envelopes, and I can always get more from the charity shop that I go to. So yeah, hopefully people won't be too mad at me for cutting up this envelope. I mean, it's something that other people would have just thrown away, and I've managed to use it in my journal, so that's how I'm justifying it to myself. But it did feel a bit odd cutting up the envelope. But it does make a beautiful backing piece, and because I've used it on the previous page, it's just a really nice way to make the 2 pages cohesive. So yeah, I've added that with some double-sided tape. It was just a bit too dry for me to feel comfortable to add it with glue, so I thought the double-sided tape would stick better to it. I've then got a collage to stick over the front, one of them being a picture of Theo, and one of them being some customers from the pub I used to work at. And I have embellished them with some rub-ons again. So the one of Theo says "the sweetest thing," and the other one says "hello friend," and I've gone for the black and white pieces because it's black and white photos. I've then added some little bee stickers to that page and called it done. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you very much for being here. Bye everyone.